Hello again. Thank you very much for joining me here on Movie Ninja. Tonight, I'm actually going to be talking about Constantine, the House of Mystery. Now, for those of you who are unaware, I'm a nerd. I don't know if the glasses ever gave it away at any point, but I've moved away for the most part. I've moved away from the big two. For those of you who are unaware, the big two are DC and Marvel. Like the big printing, like publishing houses for comic books. That being said, I still am a big fan of a lot of their characters and a lot of their storylines, particularly John Constantine. Now, truth be told, I'm not even gonna front. I'm not even gonna say like, oh, I was a fan back in the day when it was just the character was starting to appear in comics like in Swamp Thing. And yes, I do have the Swamp Thing comics. But oh yeah, I remember reading the first Hellblazer comics. And I'm not even going to pretend. I found out about the character of John Constantine thanks to the live action movie starring Keanu Reeves, which I think is actually still really good. And I know somebody's like, yes, it's alright. I like it. People may have like mixed feelings about the live action John Constantine. I enjoyed it, but that's a discussion for a different video. So, anywho, so this film, Constantine and the House of Mystery, this review, I gotta be honest with you, this is somewhat of a buyer beware sort of like scenario. Now, am I saying that because it's particularly violent or it goes into some very strange and frightening areas of fiction? No, not really. So, Constantine and the House of Mystery is advertised and distributed as its own feature film. At least that's how I was like, okay. So, if you look closely, DC Showcase animated shorts. However, it's like fine print. When you first see this and you see the adverts, and it can be like online or, if you like physical media and you see it and say, hey, Constantine. I've seen a few of the DCAU, the animated universe, like movies starring that character, and I liked them. Particularly like with Justice League Dark and the Apocalypse War and like that, so hey, a whole movie just dedicated to John Constantine after the Apocalypse War. That sounds like a lot of fun. It's not. Okay? You read the fine print after the fact. That's because that's it. It almost seems like a hat trick. So let's see how they're describing this. The distributors are describing this in the back of the box. After rewriting time and preventing the Apocalypse War from happening, John Constantine finds himself imprisoned in the House of Mystery. There you go. This is actually an anthology of it's called an anthology. It's barely a collection. It's 4 shorts assembled into what this claims is 76 minutes. I think that includes some of the credit time, though. I'm not even entirely sure if this actually makes feature-length run with all of them combined. But he's imprisoned in the House of Mystery. I usually go to great lengths to not provide spoilers, but unfortunately, the flagship, the vanguard feature of this, the top marquee of this, John Constantine, House of Mystery, it's as bare bones of a premise as you can get, unfortunately. I like I said, I like the character. He is the urban fantasy, the sorcerer that you John Constantine, the Hellblazer, John Constantine that helped Swamp Thing, help save the Earth. John Constantine that defeats all sorts of demons and dukes and princes of hell and all this, like, because he outwits them. I like this character. A lot of people would say, like, well, you know, you must not like him because you didn't like this this entry in this collection. And the thing about it is that it just doesn't do it justice. You know, it doesn't. Like, I enjoy the Matt Ryan live action show from several years ago. I would love, like if. Why isn't that part of the DC cinematic universe? You know, expanded universe, DCEAU, like whatever they call it. Where is Matt Ryan's John Constantine movie? Where is that? Anyways, now I'm getting nerd ranty, and so I apologize. I usually try to keep that out of these videos as well. But the thing is that it gives you the premise, and that's really all you need to know. That's it. It's as limp and shallow of an entry. And the thing is, like, it's supposed to be like what draws you into this. So, okay, I don't mind that it's an anthology, or it claims to be an anthology. You know, but the thing about it is just the way that the story plays out. It is just very unsatisfying for me. So, said my piece about that. Well, what about the 3 other entries in this? So you have 3 other entries. Kamandi, The Last Boy on Earth, The Losers, and Blue Beetle. Kamandi, Last Boy on Earth is honestly my favorite out of this. You have the character of Kamandi, for those who are unfamiliar. I found out about this character kind of like in the early 90s when they were going through a bit of a revamp, when everything was extreme in the 90s and like that. Didn't have the best run in my opinion, but if you happen to see any of Batman the Brave and the Bold that came out in the 2010s, starring the voice of Diedrich Bader as Batman, they did have Batman co-starring against a number of Silver Age and Bronze Age sort of DC characters, Kamandi being one of them. Kamandi is a human, one of the last humans on Earth, and he's a character that was forged at around about the same time where the zeitgeist of the Planet of the Apes was really starting to take hold in pop culture. And being one of the last humans, you know, being one of the last humans on Earth, he's always harassed and plagued by the various mutant populations that now inhabit the Earth. The great cats of the great cats, lions, tigers, rats, you know, gorillas. Particularly when you see the design of the gorillas, you know that, yes, this came about during the height of Planet of the Apes popularity. Now, discussing the short, Kamandi is abducted and forced to participate in a strange ritual to determine whether or not he is a reincarnation of a mythical character called the Mighty One. It's post-apocalyptic. We got mutants. We got death trials. Yes. Why wasn't that just the entire feature? I love it. And especially, I like the character of Kamandi as he is portrayed in his feature or featurette, because he actually does display not only what used to be referred to as science heroes like Doc Savage and other people like that they're essentially mortals, but just with slight, and I say Doc Savage, if I use the term slight augmentation, someone who's a Doc Savage fan is I don't think you know what you're talking about. Just bear with me. Doc Savage, who became the pinnacle of human athleticism, essentially the pre-Captain America, template. He did this because of, he was extremely knowledgeable of human athletic sports medicine science and just pharmaceutical science, to turn himself into the pinnacle of human physicality. So Kamandi is someone who was, I guess you could say, trained for survival in this world, but not only trained to be very brutal, but also very, very human, very compassionate and intelligent, you know? I do like seeing those characters that have extraordinary capabilities and paired with wonderful, like, you know, the better aspects of humanity, you know, as a sort of allegory for what, you know, humanity can be. And that is a big part of comics mythology, you know, across the spectrum of both heroes and villains. Okay? So I really like Kamandi, Last Boy on Earth. It's my favorite out of the four that's assembled here. And yeah, like in and of itself, I would say that I still would say, okay, like even if you're not necessarily a big fan of John Constantine, skip over it. Skip over it. There are 4 featurettes in here. Kamandi is my favorite. My second favorite is actually Blue Beetle. It's a short that is meant to invoke the sort of like Super Friends, Hanna-Barbera sort of like style of like action and humor that like the Super Friends like had. It's very self-aware and self-parroting like of TV shows of that time and like of that era. And so it reminds me actually a lot of the early Venture Brothers. That's the biggest comparison and the biggest compliment that I can give it. So those two are my favorites among this, you know. The losers, they're not winners in my book. At least not for this featurette. Like it's an interesting premise. It's where these American GIs during World War II have to close a interdimensional rift to prevent it being used by the Axis powers. That being said, it kind of watches like an assembly of World War II. Like, if it played a little bit more with, you know, some stronger themes of World War II films, just straight World War II films, and not, how do I put this? Not blockbuster World War II movies? But Movie Ninja, blockbusters are entertaining. People like blockbusters. Yeah, but it just kind of seemed like it was too breakneck. Like, played at the wrong speed, it feels just like a random assembly of World War II movie cliches. And with a premise of, you know, GIs, like with a very sort of like Doctor Who sort of like plot elements and robots and dinosaurs. To be honest, and someone's gonna call me in on that because I know that like no. I think they're just regular dinosaurs. I think my brain is inserting plot elements that would have made that particular short much more entertaining. Either which way, there are these guys, and boy howdy, they can't wait to sacrifice themselves. I get it. You know, like if you watch this World War II movie and then you see like that these soldiers have gone up against the wall and they have no other option to fulfill their mission except to sacrifice themselves, like maybe I'd feel like a little bit like that it was an ending that was like earned in a much better fashion. But no, it's played off wrong, and I didn't enjoy it as much as you know, like the team behind the short probably wanted you to. So I was just like, okay, so I've said my piece. I've said that there's 2 that I didn't like and 2 that I liked. So the ranking is pretty easy in that regard. It's a 5 out of 10. For me, it's a 5 out of 10. I know that like some people will sort of like say like, you know, like, aren't you being a little bit too harsh? But that being said, 1, I don't like the advertising on this. Because I went into this thinking that, oh, Constantine, the House of Mystery, that's going to be the feature. And when they mentioned that there's like plus 3 other DC Showcase animated shorts. Oh, those are extras. I thought they were going to be like 5 minutes long or something like that. And you know, those are fun. If you've seen any like of the independent DC shorts that used to premiere on like Cartoon Network, those are really fun. They were very creative. That being said, so one, there's a little bit of that chicanery is like, oh, okay, I was sold a movie that I never got. Naughty distributors, you know, be more honest about this. Just say, this is an anthology, okay? Like, instead of trying to play this off as something that is, like, much deeper. I only read the first sentence off the back of the box because even that gives, like, way too much away. But anyways, so, like, I would say if you watch it, judge each short on its own merits. You might like all 4, you might like 75% of it, or you might be like me and you only like 50% of it. Some of you may come away from this and it's like, no, I didn't really care for this at all. Hey, that's a possibility. I give it a 5 out of 10 because I feel that, I mean, that's me being honest. I like 2 out of 4. And so 50%. So there we go. Okay. What do you think? Am I being too harsh? Am I not being harsh enough? Either or. What is your another question, what is your favorite DC animated film? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for joining me here on Movie Ninja, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.